Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. We're sitting out here in the forest, and if you've been around the channel for very long, you know that's going to mean a fixed blade video. And if you've been around lately, you know I got a bunch of Lionsteels to get to, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. Another Lionsteel that I actually like quite a bit. So let's go ahead, scroll down here and take a look. So the knife we're taking a look at today is either a 2019 or 2020 knife from Lionsteel, reasonably new model. They did send this to me for review, and I'm extremely grateful because I do kind of love it. All right. This is the Lionsteel B41 variant on the B40. There's not a whole lot of changes, so I'm not going to get into a whole big discussion, but they do have a palm swell here, which is one of the changes they made from the B41. And I actually think either one of them are going to be a pretty darn good option for most people. I don't think you're going to be really disappointed if you went with one over the other. Anyway, don't want to spend too much time on that portion, but I've got to say a number of you guys requested that I take a look at this knife after hearing me rant and rave over the Lionsteel M4, which I do still absolutely love. Is this better? Well, we'll talk about that in a different video. I'm going to do a full comparison between the two of them. This knife is marketed by Lionsteel as a dedicated bushcraft knife. It's not a Scandi grind. It doesn't have a 90-degree spine, but we'll talk about those things as we work our way through here. Let's start off with size and weight, because I actually do think this is a pretty nice size for outdoor use. We've got 4 1/8 inches on the blade. We've got 4 and a little more than 5/8 on the handle for an overall length of 8 3/4 inches, 4 inches of grip area, so I've got lots and lots of room there. All right, 6.2 ounces with a 2.6 ounce sheath, getting us up to a full weight of 8.7. Whoops, let's see here. There we go, 8.7 ounces in the sheath, and so carrying this on a belt, works perfectly. To me, and again, this is both marketed, and I don't think this is a great EDC knife. It's just a little big for EDC, not that you couldn't do it, but because of that, I find this sheath is totally usable, and even in my area you could easily put this on your belt and carry it every day, no problem. You might get some looks if you were in Toronto or something, but I actually I think there's an argument to be made, and I mentioned this in other Lionsteel videos, for the leather sheath looking a little more traditional and perhaps a little less tactical, and maybe therefore you can get away with it in certain places. Okay, let's get back to, so we've talked about the size and weight on this. I think the size and weight is really, really nice. This is pretty much right in my sweet spot. So I like knives about this size. If I'm going to the bush, I like to throw this on my belt and then pair it with a hatchet or an axe or a saw, sometimes a hatchet or an axe and a saw. So for me, it doesn't need to be a massive chopper or anything like that. It also needs to be kind of versatile, because this has got to do all the knife jobs. Okay, I've got something else. I've got a saw, I've got a hatchet for the heavy chopping stuff, but this needs to do the finer cutting tasks, and it needs to be fairly versatile. And for that, I think this does a pretty nice job. So quick rundown here. We've got Sleipner steel, nicely crowned spine, really nice looking saber grind here, flat grind, stone wash, pretty thin behind the edge, nice bit of sharpening choil here, not a finger choil, a sharpening choil. And overall, guys, now I know the one thing that I'm going to get comments on is, where is the 90-degree spine? And yeah, it's not here, but it is right here. So what they've done is this portion of the exposed tang, let's see if we can zoom in on that a little, or focus on it, I should say. This portion of the exposed tang is at 90 degrees, so you can strike a ferro rod. All right, and yeah, I don't know whether that's the best option. I guess you'd want to hold it like this and kind of do this kind of motion, which could work pretty well, because normally I find when I'm, if I'm striking a ferro rod with the blade, it's going to be, kind of right up here as close as I can get. So reversing this around and doing this, yeah, I could definitely see that working out pretty darn well. Okay, in terms of actual cutting performance, I'm pretty happy with this as well. Whether we're, making some feather sticks, and obviously I'm not in a perfect position to make feather sticks, but, just to demonstrate that this is pretty fine behind the edge and can do a pretty nice job slicing. At the same time, if I'm going to be doing any batoning, that saber grind gives it plenty of strength, so I'm not worried about that as well. And if you kind of take a look, you can see it carries quite a bit of strength to the edge. Do I have something here? Yeah, I can probably baton with this guy. I don't have a very good baton. Actually, I've got a great big log here. I guess I can use that. You know, brute strength and ignorance prevails every time. So let's just, there we go. And like many of the fixed blades that I've reviewed out here, I'm quite confident that I'm not going to break it or have any problems like that. So what do I think of this blade? Very, very happy with the blade. Now I should comment right about now that I like a blade style like this more so than, you know, say some of the more traditional bushcraft style options. We've got a bushcraft black, Falconive F1X. This has got a convex grind. This has got a Sandy grind. Both are zero grinds. Okay, and for dedicated bushcraft stuff, a zero grind is fantastic, and for survival stuff, you know, the thicker the better. However, remember that I'm carrying an axe and a saw and stuff like that. So for me, this blade, which is a little more versatile and can do some camp stuff in addition to sort of woodworking survival type stuff, is highly valuable. And so for me, a knife like this is a blade like this, I should say, is quite appealing. I don't know why this stupid thing wants to keep focusing on the ground. I'm sorry about that, guys. But for me, yeah, a blade like this is really, really nice. Let's move down to the handle, which many of you I know are going to love, myself included. This micarta handle feels fantastic. It really, really does. It's grippy, it's hand-filling, it's comfortable, there are no hot spots. This is a handle I feel like I can really get a lot of work done with, and with that crown spine, I get a lot of comfort to boot. So in a saber grind, especially, of course, saber grip, hammer grip. Sorry, guys. Very, very nice. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of this handle. The main thing when it comes to handles is that, especially for a knife you're going to be using in the outdoors, is that they're grippy, that I'm not worried about sliding up on it, that it's going to retain that grippiness if it's a little bit damp, if I'm skinning an animal, let's say, or you know, getting supper ready and I'm working with wet, watery vegetables or even boiling water or something like that. So really, really big win on the handle here. I enjoy this an awful lot. Not to mention, just take a look at that thing. It is beautiful. And I've got to say, I love Lionsteel designs. We're you know, kind of talking about performance here, but I have to say, I have been consistently very, very impressed with the looks of Lionsteel knives. Moletta does a very nice job. And, you know, this is a knife, you know, that, you know, a lot of pride of ownership here. You know, if you give this as a gift, whoever gets it is going to be like just totally impressed. Moving on to the sheath. So the handle is well made. There are lots of different material options. It's grippy in the micarta. It's comfortable. I have no complaints whatsoever. It does have a full and exposed tang, so you can use that to bash on stuff in addition to that 90-degree portion. And then finally, this sheath. Beautiful handmade leather sheath. You know, I like Kydex a lot, but again, for the purposes of this knife, if you're hiking, if you're camping, if you're out in the woods, you know, a leather sheath is perfectly appropriate. Do I prefer a Kydex sheath if I was doing something, you know, if I was military or law enforcement and maybe wanted to carry this on a duty vest or something? Well, yeah, of course. But the fact is, that's not me. This works really, really well for an outdoor application. All right. What about comparisons? You know, there's a lot of stuff out there on the market. So let's do this. Let's see if I can create a little presentation area here. What else have we got here? Something in the budget range. Actually, we've got more budget stuff, I think, than expensive stuff. Still got the Jaros here, as well as the other Lionsteel. Okay, so comparisons, there are tons and tons of great fixed blades out there. And you know what? Honestly, any one of these I would not have a problem recommending for their specific purpose, right? The three that sort of stand out for being a little more versatile, a little more carryable, would be these three. Okay, this is getting into a larger range. It's not quite to a survival knife range. It's not going to be chopping much for you. And we've got the more dedicated bushcraft knife. We've got the F1 here. How does the B35 fit into this group? You know what, guys? It compares very well. It's reasonably priced. It's reasonably sized. Now, it's a little bigger than the M4 or the Jaros Globetrotter. If I was thinking of an EDC knife, these would probably be more in keeping with what I'd want. If I was thinking for a dedicated bushcraft knife, sure, the Mora Bushcraft Black is perfect. The Falkenhaven F1X is perfect. If I want something somewhere in between all of those, that's where this really lands. So this is going to be an outdoor use knife that, you know, if I'm going hunting, if I'm going hiking, if I'm camping, just about anything you could think of, I can get away with. Sorry about that, guys. I can get away with taking this knife with me, and it's going to do a pretty darn good job for me. So, you know, those are the comparisons I've got, and we could do many, many more, right? There are tons of Bark Rivers we could bring in, and there are, you know, White River knives, and on the list could go, and there's tons of great fixed blades out there. But I absolutely believe for the value, okay, for the performance, for the beauty of this knife, it absolutely belongs on the list of very, very good outdoor fixed blade options. It really, really is a nicely done knife. Lionsteel consistently has delivered that. I've got a couple of other Lionsteels. I've got one more to review. I think I've got the B35 to review yet. And look, guys, you can expect a pretty positive review for that knife as well, because Lionsteel does a great job with their fixed blades. I have not yet had one that I dislike. If there's one out there that's bad, you guys let me know in the comments down below, because I haven't seen it. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, check out that link to DLT Trading. They tend to have pretty good prices on these and pretty good availability. So hopefully they have that in this case. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.